Next, we have Arjok Chatterjee, who is a postgraduate student here and is coordinator of the Vivekananda Samiti. So, Arjok, please come on stage. And lastly, but not least, we have Swapnil Kumar, the Cultural General Secretary. And so this completes our panel for the day, and I'd like to hand the mic to Ayush to initiate the discussion.
So I am Ayush Basu, and that's Shashank.
So while we get things organized, I'd like to invite the professors to introduce themselves and basically talk about their fields of interest and yes, that's fine. Or, okay, fine. We're just waiting for them.
We want to talk about what we envision India as in the time of 5 years. And let's talk about something that I feel is very important to the Indian society right now and very important to any society as a whole. Let's talk about education. So, education in India is something that is a very diverse field because you have a lot of people who have different ideas of education, who have different needs from education. So I'd like to start off by asking each one of the respected panel members what are the experiences they've had with the education system in India, and what problems have they faced throughout their experiences, and what changes do they envision in it?
I wasn't aware of this debate, and suddenly I got a call this morning and I said, okay, fine, I will say something. But to make it relevant, I worked through the afternoon and tried to find out what kind of education policies the government of India has been pursuing, say, last 15, 20 years. You remember that in 1991, the former Prime Minister, under the leadership of another Prime Minister, initiated something called Structural Reforms Program in India. And that was a major breakthrough program in terms of economic policies, and the orientation of the economy started changing from 1991. Now, 1992, they launched also that famous 5-year plan called the 7th 5-year plan. And the thing is that, the 8th. We know, and I particularly know, coming from an era of 1960s and 70s, the Indian economy has vastly changed. And the Indian economy that has vastly changed is the economy where I lived. So I lived in Calcutta, I now live in Kanpur city. At IIT Kanpur, I sometimes venture out to Kanpur city, and I look around and I also teach a few economics courses. And definitely, a few things are very noticeable. Number one, what we call real income of an urban person, like me in the teaching profession, and somebody else in some other profession. And of course, I teach to a bunch of people the students who normally get very good jobs in terms of real income. The real income in India has gone up. So people are having a better life in terms of purchasing power, how much they can buy, and how much they can spend on himself or the family or whatever. The other thing is that, along with the rise in real income, the population of India has also increased, and that expands the large size population, I don't interact most of the time. But the figures that I get, I receive and I see here and there, or when I'm preparing for a course, is that certain index, like Human Development Index or something else, or say literacy rate, are not really very encouraging. So there are two things happening in India over the last 20, 25 years. On the one hand, income of a person who is employed has significantly gone up. But at the same time, you have a lot of unemployed people. Now, this bulk of unemployed people, you can safely assume that most of them are probably not very well trained or educated to be able to compete with the employed people and secure a job for himself. And also, some portion of these unemployed people are very well trained, but there have been some mishaps, something went wrong, and they didn't get or land up with a very good job. So the thing is, we are living with one part of India which is doing quite well, and also living side by side with a very large section of the population who are not doing well and not living well. And normally people say, and economists of course say, that human capital, which is based on training, education, etc., need to be very good to be able to find a place in the economy, live a decent life, and not feel deprived of things that he wanted in his life, say maybe a car, maybe some books, maybe some clothes, maybe a good holiday, would be able to enjoy that. But I don't think that is happening. And that today you are saying in 5 years' time, how much will change in India, or what would you like to see on the education front? I would simply say that the whole education system, although you are very qualified and you are JEE qualified people, most of you, undergraduate students in particular, have joined IIT Kanpur for a very bright future. But you have to remember that the IITs still offer education, which suppose I'm assuming, making it homogeneous across all IITs, assuming very good education, marketable education, education which can be useful for the society's development, but that percentage is very small. So now, where are people getting trained or educated in India? When you go beyond IIT, and the cities that I've lived, I grew up on a campus like this, I've seen there are good colleges and bad colleges. And what I hear is that some good colleges has expanded in my former city, and some bad colleges are still surviving because parents want their kids to get educated. And if they don't have enough financial backing, or the children have not been doing well in school, they land up in poor colleges. But parents still feel an emotional happiness that my son is still going to a college and will land up with a degree. But that degree may not be useful. So what I'm trying to say, to think about a comprehensive education policy in an evening like this, in 5 years' time, what it would be is very difficult. And what I would like to say only, when I looked up certain documents and how much government has been spending, etc., let me give you an idea. Education is classified under, according to macroeconomic headings, something called social services. Is it all right if I take 1 or 2 minutes?
No, it's fine.
Achha. Education is classified something called social services. Now, the social services expenditure since, say, 2011-12, and we just completed 16-17 financial year, as a percentage of GDP, it has been 3.2% in 11-12, and it has still, in 16-17, 3.2 percentage. Percentage 3.2 doesn't mean that the real amount or the money amount has not changed. It has definitely changed because the budget size is a monotonically increasing function. So it is going up and up and up. So a percentage of a larger budget as a percentage of a larger budget, or as a percentage of a relatively smaller budget few years back, it has remained the same. Acha. Now, when you come to the expenditure share of education, of the total expenditure of the central government, you will find that out of the total expenditure of the central government across all these years, it has increased marginally from 24% to 25.1%. Not much of an increase. Now, if you take the social sector share, like within the social sector, which has many sectors, it has hygiene, it has public health, it has education, it has sports, arts, culture, it has the welfare of SCs, STs, many things, urban development. They're all part of the social sector. Now, out of the total social share expenditure, education expenditure occupies a very large portion, which is 47.7% in 11-12, has gone down, however, to 42.5% in the last financial year. Having said this, what I'm trying to say is, India being a poor country, it has many things to take care of. And we often easily blame a government for not doing enough. Even if this small amount of money, and within the social sector is a very large amount which they are spending on education, where is the money going? Because when I look at my servant quarter people or look at the people on the streets who do not come from a middle class background like me, I find they are quite desperate. I mean, they're going to school, colleges, or ITIs for training, but they're not sure whether they will get employment. And they're not sure about what kind of education they're getting. So, to cut it short, what I'm saying, despite having spent so much, and let me point out, the largest portion of this money which they spend on education from the government side, not from the private sector side, government side, I'm not talking about private sector expenditure, is actually going only primarily for the primary education. So now you have 4 layers of education in India: primary education, secondary education, post-secondary education, which sometimes is referred to as higher education. Imagine, BA, BSc are part of higher education. So school education divided into 2 parts, primary and secondary, then the higher education, and they have something called adult education. I don't know whether you know adult education. It's essentially an already trained person, an adult, 30 years, 25 years, 35 years, 40 years, is retrained in certain vocational and other abilities. The minimum they spend on adult education in India, that means nobody is getting a retraining from the government side. Maximum they're spending on primary education, and they're spending some on secondary education. They have, under UGC, etc., some funding, etc., scholarship, etc., for post-secondary, means higher education, which is colleges. IITs are the privileged ones which, despite having such a rich base of students and a history, is still largely funded by MHRD. So a large chunk of the MHRD money, or government money, is going for IITs also. Along with it, some money is going, and probably that some money is not good enough. Now, if you look at the results, the primary education sector results are quite disturbing. You go to urban area, from urban areas to rural areas, it gets worse. You have various disturbing trends like class 5 students' ability to do arithmetic is judged by giving him or her a test from class 2 or 3, whether she can solve it, although in the school formally he or she is in class 5. You have a very high dropout rate, and that varies across states. So northeastern states have a very high dropout. UP, Bihar, some central states like UP, Bihar, MP, etc., Chhattisgarh have a very high dropout. There is a real struggle going on with the retention, how to retain students in school. There are various reasons for which they drop out. They drop out at the primary level, they drop out after entering the secondary level, and they completely disappear, whatever little school education they have. So to be honest with you, in 5 years' time, I don't think any new policy is required. In 5 years' time, what you need, if you can spend a little bit more money, spend it efficiently, spend it effectively, make sure the money reaches the needy ones, make your midday meal scheme, for instance, not so corrupt, where a lot of memberships are there, which they're finding out, where there's no student by that name, but a midday meal money has come from the government. So government is also wasting a lot of money. So if you can efficiently and effectively spend the money among the programs and for the goals that you have set, I need not go into this because this is an evening for a short duration discussion, then I think in 5 years' time you will have good results in terms of quality education, in terms of literacy, and of course in terms of better functioning of institutions. I guess I should stop here and give it to Professor Mishra.
सबको मेरा नमस्कार. Professor Sinha has already talked about all the gamuts of how the government takes care of education. A question comes to my mind, why people should be educated at all? Is it for getting employment? That question has to be addressed. And food is essential, but is it education is the means to provide the food? See, these questions I ask several times to myself, and what I find, it is not the case. If you look at last maybe 20 to 30 years, the quality of education has gone down like anything. Why it is so? That question has to be asked. And if you look at education today is being pursued for the food. When the food is ensured, then only people will be educated, otherwise not. Actually, education is started from the birth. Education of a person starts from the birth till the death. It is not the formal education. I will not, get into the philosophical aspect of education, but as a policy maker, they should debate and discuss and also find out what is the basis for that. I must tell you that there is an erosion in the quality of the education, what is going on. And as Professor Sinha has pointed out very candidly, that even if you ask a person about the class 5, about the matter what is being taught in the class 2 or 3, even arithmetic, they cannot do. And even go to the higher education, the situation are worse. They can't even write. They won't even thought process. Right. Express the thought process in their own language. And of course, other language as well. So now question arises, why it is so? If you look at, where are the teachers? Who are going to teaching profession today? In last 5-6 years, I have addressed several high school and then engineering college teachers and other things, and also students. I asked them, are you going to be a teacher? Most of them will say no, right? So now the people who are not getting anything, they are coming to the teaching profession. That is the reality. Now, government wants to do, of course, it is good thing, but not for the 5 years. He has to find out ways and means. And people should have, those people who are having fire of teaching in their belly, they should come forward and do the teaching. And if you look at with the globalization, and as Professor Sinha has pointed out, that education comes under social service, in the garb of social service, right? People are spoiling education because of what you call this marketing and other things are going on, and it's become a business in the garb of social service. That policy has to be changed. If you want to make it business, make it business. If you want to make it social service, you'll have to make it. That policy government has to take. And other important thing, education policy, if you look at, is very much essential, but it should not be thought for a 5 year. It should be thought in terms of 50 years at least. And beside this, like what is important is that education should be coming from the educator. Who are the educators? The teachers are the educators, not the business people who are considered to be educators in this country today. And they are where they are. They don't have any ideas. What is education? They are basically, I call them in my own language, which is little not good, that is teaching clerks. They are being asked to do something they are doing, right? So, therefore, there is no creativity in that. And if you look at the people, one of the main objective which I had found out earlier, because that is the creativity, to keep intact the creativity of a person. The creativity, man is a creative creature by nature, but unfortunately, modern education is making them to be uncreative. Why? In the name of education today, babies are being sent to schools and they are being tortured. Today, the teachers and the parents are enemies of the children. Now, if you will not take care of that, then it is a big problem. Because their creativity is being lost and their ingenuity is being lost. And beside this, today with this mobile and then internet and other things, people are addicted. Even the small babies are not, spared from that. So therefore, if you want to keep the mind alive and not as a plastic, because today people are very, monotonous and mechanical in their approach. They don't have good thinking process. And if you look at these educated people, their literacy rate has gone. If you ask them whether they are literate, these educated people from the very good colleges, are they literate? That is the questionable. Forget about adult education and other thing. Now, one has to also look at how we'll retain the mind power, because the strength of India is the intellectual or of a person which we inherited from our ancestors. But unfortunately, with this modern automation and mechanization has spoiling the mind of the people. And most of the youth today are addicted to what? To the internet and mobile, then social medias. And their mind, lot of noises are there in their mind. Concentration level is very weak. These are things to be addressed in a national level. How we'll do? Earlier days, the village was not affected by this mechanization, but today village is affected by this mechanization, automation, and then internet uses and other thing. Earlier days, we used to get students who can do research because they will be generally from the village area, who will be struggling hard, but they will do good work. But today we won't find because they are all busy. Mind is not free. And if you look at the humanity point of view, because according to me, modern education is making man inhuman. That's why I am working on basically philosophy of humanistic education. If you look at most of the educated people are insensitive to the cause of the society. They are so more selfish than the uneducated people, unprivileged people who are privileged. Therefore, education has failed the society. So one has to look at the objectives and how to do. The best way is to do that. What I think this has to be reorganized. And it has to be not done in a 5-year. A chalk-out plan has to be made, or a plan has to be chalked out properly, and it is to be done not by the government, but by the society. Society should be alive, and society will be alive provided we create more teachers. Real teachers, not teaching clerks. So those can be done on the tutelage of the teachers. Now we'll have to create teachers who will have some ideas, vision. And also the nation should come into pictures. We should not prepare the students for the market forces. We should prepare the students for the society. And that is very important point I am making. And if government wants to that, he has to think about and find out the teachers. Very few people will be there who are having independent thought process. Most of the education policies are being made in this country, borrowing ideas from outside. And then that won't help us. India is a very great country. It is having what you call lot of potentials. But unfortunately, always we are saying India is a poor country. India is not a poor country. India is a poorly managed country. So therefore, one has to go back to the root. And this civilization is striving for thousands of years in spite of invasion by various people, various outsiders. But at this moment, we are at a very disadvantageous position because of just following the Western people blindly. So also in education. So therefore, education has to be revived from the very basic, not that doing a quick fix system, not that making a lipstick to so enhance your beauty. So therefore, education has to be looked at. I would suggest if government is serious about it, he should find out not the administrative people who are in education. They should find out real teachers. Some of them are there, at least I am in touch with some of them. And they should come and find out what should be education, how to use our potential which is lying dormant in the youth and also our people. And unless until we do that, we will be doing injustice to the great country which must show the way to not only to this country for the entire world. And I am sure that if a what you call thinking tank or a people, some who are having original thought, not that borrow ideas from outside and paste on it, copy and paste. These are the things going on and which is hampering our growth and the things. So therefore, I will conclude that education is very important, but however, that education which will make a man not inhuman to the society, to the others, these things. So therefore, education has to be revived, not that some things to be done for 5 years, it has to be thought about for 50 years in a systematic manner by the people, not by the government. Government should support, government should act as a facilitator, not a controller of the education. Thank you very much.
So, hi everyone, I'm Swapnil. So, जैसे ही सिन्हा सर ने बात करी और मिश्रा सर ने बात करी अबाउट कि एक प्रॉब्लम हर कोई आइडेंटिफाई कर पा रहा है कि आने वाला टाइम जो है वो प्रेजेंट में जो हो रहा है उसके हिसाब से तो शायद सही नहीं है. हम जो देख रहे हैं अभी जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम देख रहे हैं एंड वी आर सीइंग द रिजल्ट्स. आई एग्री दैट आई एम अ पार्ट ऑफ इट एंड आई कम्प्लीटली एग्री दैट it's not the best system because this system does not give you the freedom to think in the ways that it's possible. So 1 + 2 3 होता है, ये अच्छी बात है, पर 1 + 2 3 क्यों होता है? जब लोगों को ये पता करना होता है तो कोई इसमें इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है. और वो इंटरेस्ट क्यों मर चुका है? एक बहुत ही लंबा साइकिल है. ये साइकिल चालू होता है इस एजुकेशन से जो सोसाइटी के नीड से ड्राइव होके फिर जॉब और जॉब से फिर ड्राइव होके कहीं और ये पूरा एक साइकिल चलता जाता है। और मुझे लगता है कि जिस स्टेप पे हम हैं, एटलीस्ट मैं अपने आप को जहाँ पाता हूँ, वहाँ पे एक बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट चेंज शायद लाया जा सकता है। तो एक आइडिया है जो कि कुछ ऐसा कहता है कि रादर दैन कि आप लोगों को कंप्यूटर चलाना सिखाएं, क्योंकि कंप्यूटर चलाना कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, और कंप्यूटर वो हर काम कर सकता है जो ह्यूमन कर सकता है। दैट इज कॉल्ड आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, राइट? आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस से आज जो हमारे लॉयर्स हैं वो कोर्ट में केस हार जा रहे हैं, चेस का ग्रैंड मास्टर चेस का कंपटीशन हार जा रहा है। सो नाउ यू रियलाइज दैट एआई कैन डू ऑलमोस्ट एनीथिंग। तो हम एज ए ह्यूमन हमारा क्या काम रह गया? अगर हम सब प्रेजेंट सिस्टम में देखें तो कुछ नहीं, क्योंकि हमारे पास जो जॉब्स थी वो सारी तो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस और रोबोट्स कर ले रहे हैं। पर वो एक चीज़ नहीं कर सकते, जो कि ये है कि शायद हमारी सोसाइटी में या हमारे आसपास जो भी इशू हैं उसे सॉल्व करना, ये काम एआई नहीं कर सकता। क्योंकि ह्यूमन इमोशंस इन दी एंड ह्यूमन इमोशंस होते हैं, और ह्यूमन इमोशंस से व्हेन यू सी कि शायद किसी फुटपाथ पे कोई गरीब बैठा हुआ है, देन ये थॉट हमारे दिमाग में आ जाता है कि हाँ, क्यों ये हो रहा है और इसके लिए मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ या क्या कर सकती हूँ। ये थॉट हर कोई नहीं ला सकता। और मुझे लगता है कि जब तक हम में से हर कोई ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग अपना एटीट्यूड नहीं रखता, तब तक इस दुनिया में, इस देश में, इस सोसाइटी में जितनी भी दिक्कतें हैं वो कभी सॉल्व नहीं होंगी। क्योंकि हम में से हर कोई यही आइडियोलॉजी लेके घूम रहा है कि कोई और तो कर ही देगा। मे बी हमारा नेता कर देगा, मे बी हमारी गवर्नमेंट कर देगी, और गवर्नमेंट नहीं करती तो हम उन्हें गालियां देते हैं कि अरे अरे आप काम नहीं कर रहे। वी आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल. We should understand that all of us are responsible for this country, for our society, as much as this government is. They have been elected by you, fine. But that does not reduce your responsibility towards your society and your country. So what I'm trying to say is, we should develop skills that focus on problem solving rather than memorizing or studying something. So for that, so where I read it, it said that we need 4 skills. Yeah, that's true. 4 skills. These are the 4 skills that are for problem solving. And that summarizes most of the problem solving. So first is empathy. Empathy is really important for solving any problem. So अगर मैं अपने आसपास किसी की प्रॉब्लम देखता हूँ तो मैं उसे सॉल्व कर सकता हूँ। मैं अगर किसी और की भी प्रॉब्लम देखता हूँ तब मैं उसको उसी तरीके से सॉल्व कर सकता हूँ जब मेरे पास एम्पैथी हो। आई कैन थिंक इन देयर ओन वे, इन देयर ओन एनवायरमेंट, इन देयर ओन सिचुएशन. देन द सेकेंड इज टीम वर्क. अब इतने सारे लोग हो चुके हैं आज के समय में कि आपको सबको साथ में लेके चलना पड़ेगा. जब कोई अकेले काम करने उतर जाता है तो कुछ लोग उसे लीडर कहते हैं और दूसरी साइड की जनता उसे मोनार्क कहती है. तो हमें समझने की जरूरत है कि हमें सबको साथ में लेके चलना सीखना पड़ेगा, और सबको साथ में लेके नहीं चलेंगे तब तक सबकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं होगी. आज हमारे देश में इतनी सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, हर कोई उसे सॉल्व क्यों नहीं कर पा रहा? क्योंकि हम में से हर कोई वो टीम वर्क वाली क्वालिटी नहीं ला पा रहा है. वी नीड टू वर्क ऑन आवर टीम बिल्डिंग एंड टीम वर्क में काम करने वाली कैपेबिलिटी. देन द थर्ड इज कोलैबोरेटिव लीडरशिप. सो कोलैबोरेटिव लीडरशिप और टीम वर्क थोड़ा सा ओवरलैपिंग है, बट कोलैबोरेटिव लीडरशिप क्या कहता है कि कोई एक लीडर नहीं है. आप अगर एक टीम में काम करते हैं, या ये सोसाइटी पे भी अप्लाई होता है कि एक अगर हम सोसाइटी है तो हम में से हर कोई एक लीडर है. हम में से हर कोई ये क्षमता रखता है कि इस सोसाइटी में जो भी प्रॉब्लम्स है उसे सॉल्व करें. और उसके लिए ज़रूरत यह है कि गवर्नमेंट को ये समझना चाहिए कि जितने भी आइडियाज़ आ रहे हैं, ऑल ऑफ देम आर वैल्यूएबल आइडियाज़ इन सम वे और द अदर. और मुझे लगता है कि ऐसे प्रोग्राम और ऐसे ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग सेशन से ये चीज़ फैसिलिटेट होती है कि अब शायद वो वॉइस गवर्नमेंट तक पहुँचे जो शायद अब तक नहीं पहुँच पा रही थी. तो दिस इज़ द मेन idea of collaborative leadership. And the fourth is creative problem solving. So problem solving हर कोई कर लेता है, पर उसको थोड़ा नए तरीके से करना. और नए तरीके से कभी डरना नहीं चाहिए. आदमी क्या बहुत जल्दी नए बनने से डर जाता है, हर किसी को फेलियर से डर लगता है। ये भी इस नए सिस्टम का एक कॉन्सिक्वेंस है कि अब कोई नया ट्राई नहीं करना चाहता। सबको लगता है कि एक पुराने सेट सिस्टम में हम काम करते हैं, जिसके बारे में मिश्रा सर भी बात कर रहे थे, सिन्हा सर भी बात कर रहे थे। तो वी नीड टू see things in a different way, approach problems in a different way and try finding different solutions. अभी तक के solutions काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, तभी तो आप नए solutions की तरफ जा रहे हैं, राइट? वो उतने efficient नहीं है, तो आने वाले solution और efficient होंगे। जब हम में ये problem solving skills हो जाएंगी, then I guess बहुत सारी चीजें सॉल्व हो जाएंगे, नॉट ओनली एजुकेशन। सो एजुकेशन इसका बेसिक ब्लॉक है। एजुकेशन जब हमें ये सिखाने लगेगा कि प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स क्या होती हैं, उन्हें प्रैक्टिस कैसे किया जाता है, देन वी कैन स्टार्ट बिल्डिंग ऑन इट एंड देन हम शायद ये रियलाइज करेंगे आफ्टर आई डोंट नो 5, 10, maybe 20 years that yes, we have reduced the number of problems that are there in our country, in our society and in this world. So that is my whole point. Let's through our education build skills that are required for this society and for humanity and not only for your own and for your job. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Swapnil. So I am Arjak. I will focus on 4 basic questions. So what should be the 4 basic questions to be addressed by an education system? I believe that the first one should be the aim of the education. The second one, what is to be taught, that is what would be the syllabus. The third one, what will be the method by which we can taught people. And the fourth one, what is the role of the teacher. And last not but the least, what discipline should a student follow. So I believe that the aim of the education, the first aim of the education, as all of us are discussing that, should be proper training and self-control. Because in last decade, even today also, people are giving more importance on IQ. But some research is going on, what is the importance of EQ, emotional quotient, in a human life. And I will give you a very nice example. One scientist was there, Walter Mischel. He was a psychologist at Stanford University. In 1960, he performed an experiment known as marshmallow experiment. It was very famous in psychological texts. So the experiment is that he took a bunch of kids, young kids, they are about 4 to 5 years of age, and they were taken from a similar family background. That means their parents are working in a Stanford University as a professor or a clerk, to emphasize that they belongs from a similar kind of family background. The experiment was this like that, marshmallow is an American sweet. Walter Mischel told the kids that, I will give you this sweet. You can take it now, but I have some work. I will leave this room and I will come back after a few minutes. If you wait till that few minutes, you will get another one. So what do you want? Each and every child replied that we should wait, thus we can get 2 sweets. The experiment was performed and it is found that 50 or a particular percent of the child were able to wait and rest of the child were not able to wait. This was the first observation when the kids were at the age of 4. And after that, the experimenter, the psychologist did actually is that he kept record for 14 long years of each of the students. And after 14 years, when the kids were at the age of 18, it was found that those kids who was able to wait on that day are intellectually, academically, and even extracurricularly 200% more better than those who are not able to wait. In terms of psychology, it is known as delayed gratification. Now comes the most important question. We used to blame that India does not have that, India does not have that. But even in America, there is no provision in an education system how a man should control his mind. Because those children who are able to wait, it was inherently in them. We don't know, it may be genetically, it may be in reason, but it was inherently. But those who are not able to wait at that day, there is no such method, even in American education system, by which people can learn how to control their emotional quotient, or we can say how to be a good self-controller. I think the first policy which government has to take is that they should include a part in education by practical means, not only by theoretical things, how to do self-control. It may be by meditation, it may be by other type of things, that is fine. That part we have to scientifically research and we have to find, because it can't be done overnight. A lot of discussion, debate should be going on. But I think the first policy government has to take is to that, how to enhance the self-control of the students. If the government is taking this, so this will not give output, certainly. It will take about 20-30 years to give a proper output. And we should keep the patience. And I think this is the first policy which government has to take. Thank you.
All right, so what we have concluded so far is basically that there are a lot of problems with the Indian education system right now, and the problems are essentially kind of varied, right? So what Professor Sinha told us about is that there exists a certain sector of the society that usually gets education and can make the best of it, while a large portion does not. And what we have are limited resources for dealing with this problem. So from this, I'd like to ask my next question. As you might all have noticed here, that education has largely been talked about in two contexts. One would be providing literacy and the basic level of education that is necessary to everybody, while the second is basically providing something innovative and creative to everyone, essentially what we call excellence in education, right? So given that we have limited resources, I'd like to ask the question to the members of the panel. How do they think should the government focus in future on spending these resources? Should we concentrate on educating more people, or should we concentrate on spending resources on creating better methods to educate people, despite the fact that it might be concentrated to a few number of people, and then that would slowly develop the entire society in general?
I just wanted to avoid this question when I was thinking, because this is very difficult to answer. What I've noticed is a few things. I think it's not very organized in my mind. If government is spending the bulk of the limited money they have under education head on primary education, it's correct, because education begins with primary education. However, the bottlenecks they're facing year after year and they have not been able to solve are, I was trying to note them down. One, good quality teachers. So they have not been able to solve the problem of producing good quality teachers, but they want to solve primary education, number one. Number two, primary education for a country with a mixed population of very high income and very low income requires a financial support to the family of the child to be able to go to school, to be able to have the proper uniform, to be able to study when even electricity is not available, to be able to have the books, and of course to be able to find a meaningful life in the process called studying. Because at school I used to feel, although my parents spent a lot of money to send me to a known good school, but when I entered that known good school, 50% of the teachers did not attract me. And 50% of the teachers attracted me, and I got interested in the subject. And eventually, it doesn't happen probably with everybody, I started scoring well in exams. I wasn't scoring well in exams prior to that school, and the subjects I did not like in that so-called good school, I did not score even till I reached the board exam. So my parents were very worried. Now what is going to happen? Now there is another kind of student, either they are self-motivated or driven by parents to do well irrespective of the quality of teachers or a school by giving them or spending more money through a coaching institute or a tutor, private tutor at home. My days, we used to have private tutors at home. But now the thing has developed into a subsector in the education sector called coaching industry. So now you send your kid to a coaching industry. The problem is this. The goal is to enter IIT. So you start, say, with a SC/ST, non-middle class, poor class background student, training him to go to IIT. If you're really interested, if government is interested, or anybody else, an NGO is interested, a private company is interested, I want to see this person travel from a village, coming from a very poor background, all the way to IIT, he probably would achieve that goal. But in the process, the IIT JEE exam, they are not questioning. IIT education, they are not questioning. The school education, they are not questioning. By hook or crook, they have to make him to reach IIT. Because then, post-IIT, he has a future. In the process, what you're doing, what I've noticed, is with my kids that are in school now, you are removing a large chunk of their childhood with things like study, 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 after school, go to the coaching class. So they go to coaching class, even at class 3, 4, 5, and I had a tutor. They're really screaming at us, I think. We should stop.
Oh. Fine. So, you can continue. Yeah.
What is this?
It's, I'm not sure. New people coming. Huh? Yes. Sir,
We stop?
no, sir, we can continue. Yeah.
We continue?
Yes, sir.
Acha.
It's basically. So, sir, I'll just make an announcement. So, if you have come for SNT code, I'd like you to get seated into the auditorium, and we're having a panel discussion, and I'd like you to wait for it to complete before you move on with any activities regarding the SNT Council. Okay, sir, please continue.
So the point is, with limited resources, emphasis on private education is all right. But the problem, bottlenecks are, how do you train young minds from both privileged and underprivileged background to enjoy education, to learn something, and have a fruitful life? You need just not teachers. You need teachers, you need infrastructure, you need food, you need, what normally happens is a poor kid is often sent off with unemployment because he would be earning for the family. Family doesn't have income. So you need that replacement money for the family. And you need a host of things to lift the primary education level to a level which is sustainable and fruit-bearing, so that you can go into secondary education and have an easy life or easy flow through the secondary education. And now, if government or somebody provides some more funds, you can travel beyond secondary education into what you are doing. In India, it is called higher education. Come for a college degree, university degree, or even PhD. Do you understand what I'm saying? The focus is correct, but it hasn't been effective. You have to make it effective. The lesser the money you have, it is more important that you don't waste that money. The more funds you have, you can afford to waste. But the smaller the kitty, the more important it gets. And there, starting from the political class, the government administrative machinery, down to the grassroots level schools, all will have to work in a disciplined manner together. Otherwise, it will fail, and it is failing. Even my servant quarter people told me, "Arey, we are trying to send him to an English medium school." Can you believe that? What English medium school would mean to them? There is hardly any teacher probably who knows English there. But the school businessman owner has put a label, it is an English medium school, and this servant quarter people know, if I can send my son to English medium school, spending 40% of our income, so we have very little to eat now, but my son is going. The problem is, after going to that English medium school, there is no what you call a future, because education is so poor. So you got to be doing it very carefully. So government schools are the focus point, because if government is funding schools, and government aided schools, they have to monitor it is doing all right. The second point is, the institutions which are doing well, which is always, I was at a conflict with my colleagues, and when I was head, I even uttered a few times and then I stopped, because there's a mixed opinion here. You know, there where I believe in economics a little bit, at IIT Kanpur, X percentage comes from a background who can afford to pay a higher fee, and Y minus X cannot. Will you depend upon the limited MHRD fund, which is still funding IIT, by the way? Our salaries are coming. With a one slab fee for all, or a proportionate fee somewhere. You have to think about it, because financing is important. Now, IIT has a platform to start thinking about it. A school in the village doesn't have a platform. It cannot think about it. It has to be funded. So in a poor country with your, say, uncle who has a better job, will he help us? This is what I'm trying to say. Or we remain where we are and the uncle lives whatever he wants to do. So the cooperation aspect is there. And the third point is that education has to be meaningful and enjoyable, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. You cannot just tell a kid, you have to do science because you have to get a JEE, and you have to go to that coaching center because IIT Kanpur is a destination, and then finally when he reaches IIT Kanpur, he's exhausted. He has no motivation. Naturally, he plays with those games because it relaxes him. Because I've done enough studies. I've done, compared to Surojit Sinha, 2 of Surojit Sinha's studies already before reaching IIT Kanpur. And now you are going to make another 3rd Surojit Sinha, and where is the energy going to come from? Or motivation. So this is a problem I have with this, your JEE and IIT. I come from a non-JEE background. I don't understand this. And the 4th point with Professor Mishra meant, education has to qualify you as a human being, as a participant in the society, and not an alienated, isolated, introvert with whom nobody communicates. He doesn't communicate with anybody. He doesn't share it with anybody. So eventually he lands up doing nothing for the society, except for himself maybe. That's a dangerous thing to happen. So you have to become a human being. Now, whether politicians help you, you will say, sir, do your teachers help you to become a human being? Probably not. Do your politicians whom you see on TV help you to become a human being, to live in India? Not. Now, what are you going to do? But you can have your personal set of values and can live a life with minimum compromises. That is possible. It is possible. Although they are not helping you, and although you don't become Ambani overnight with a lot of wealth. Possible. Anyway, so I leave it to my colleagues to talk about it.
Thank you, sir. I believe that was a very nice bit of introspection.
I will not take more time. And, but you know, like I'm a teacher who gets to speak, you know, gets money paid to speak. So therefore, that is my habit of saying more, but let me try to cut short. I would suggest that what government can do, because this education system which is going on for the industries, this is a fragmented education system. But however, last 20 years, the phenomenal change has occurred due to the globalization and the money, I call it vitamin M effect. So that effect has spoiled the education, whatever little was there when I studied. So therefore, first point I would like to make, government can do that this LKG, UKG, play school, all those things should be stopped immediately. Because that this formal education is spoiling the people to the point of no return. वो सब अंगारे बन जाते. जैसे प्रोफेसर सुरजीत सिंह ने बताया कि जब IIT पहुंचते पहुंचते वो सब they are burnt out thing. If they are burnt out, they don't have any energy to be spent. So that is happening with now with the babies, kids 2.5 or 2 years old. They are going to study A, B, C, D. So therefore, बचपन को बचाना बहुत जरूरी है. बचपन को बचाएंगे कैसे? ना उनको खेलने छोड़ो. And that has to be done by the parents. Parents' education is a very important point what government can think of. Because today modern educated people are not good parents, right? Because they give instruction to the children, babies. They should live a life so that children will see and learn. So that is the first part I want to say, Bachpan Bachao. Government should play a major role in that, educating people and also stopping, making the rules that you cannot have a school for unless otherwise 6 years old. They cannot go to formal schools. That is very important point because that is spoiling people. Besides this primary education is very important. And as Professor Surjit Sinha says, that it should be enjoyable. It should be practical, not that only from the book. And very important point I would like to say that why people will compete for the school going from English medium school, this medium school, that no. It should be locally medium school. No English should be taught till the age of maybe 7 or 8. At the class 4, that means 10 years. English should be taught at the age of 10. That is a very important point government can do. Because English is not a good language, but however we cannot avoid it. I will not get into that, why I am saying so. I am having enough proof for that or enough arguments for that. The other thing, what is important, I am going to suggest to the government that they should have community school. That means if the 5 kilometers or 2 kilometers are there, there will be school. All the children from that, whether rich, poor, backward, forward, they should go to that school. So that, and this school will be owned by the local people, not by the government. So their children will be going, so therefore they will take interest in that. Not that they will be rich, they will win. They are not allowed to go. The government can make a rule for that, which is our Gurukul system, earlier days. So that rich, poor, Raja, Rank, sab ek hai. So those will be managed by them, not government. And beside this, these teachers should be the highly, primary school teachers should be highly paid, more than the professor. So that good people will come to teach the primary and they should be good human being. Unless you are a good human being, you cannot be a teacher. So these radical changes are required. Besides this, the higher education is only for limited people and they should be supported not by the government but by themselves. We don't need so many PhD because China is doing, we will do. What is the nonsense? According to me, this is not required. And also let me tell you, I don't want to talk because I am having a passion for education. I am developing a model for humanistic education. So I can talk at length. There is a lot of issues. Education is like an ocean. Government has to decide whether they want to make this India or Bharat as a Bharat or Bharat as America. If they want to make Bharat as America, they should get that education system what they are importing, right? But if you want to make Arab, they will have to get into the basics and develop a system which is good for our people. And with this, I will stop over. I am having enough ideas, but I am giving very limited thing because of you people are impatient and there is a music show after this. And I will not talk about that because this is a very, it's like an ocean for me. Ocean is, in infinity. So I will stop here, but only I will tell you that the education should be make a man, I call is a asura. Asura means a man with the qualities, and man is a man, and then it has to be developed into a godhood, devta, what our scripture says. That means from asura to a man or मानव से देवता बनना एजुकेशन का ऑब्जेक्टिव होना चाहिए, जो कि हमारे शास्त्र में बढ़िया से लिखा गया है. तो इसीलिए हमको we will have to go back to the root and find out education, because with education we can change this society and make our country great. Thank you very much.
So thank you, sir. I just want to add one line here because now it's a time for musical program. So the organizers asked the question that the government should focus on number of literate people or it should focus on excellence. In one sentence, I will like to answer is that government should focus the number of literate people, but through excellence. Nowadays, we are doing the reverse thing. Nowadays, we are focusing the excellence through the number of literate people. And if for various hindrance, a child is not able to go to a school, then a school should come to the child. That means this is there in Bengal, there is a Ongon Owari Shiksha Kendra is there. So these are not exactly schools. Actually, the concept of play schools, we brought it from Western culture. But Ongonwari is like a thing that where the child can go and play, they can become habituated. And this is there in the very villages of Bengals. So that is a very interesting thing, and the government can focus in this type of ideas. Thank you.
And so to close the discussion, we have Swapnil here to present some mementos for you as a token of appreciation for coming here and expressing your views and sharing your thoughts on this matter. So Swapnil, so first to Professor Surajit Sinha. JP Mishra, DP. Next to Professor DP Mishra. And lastly to Arjak Bhattacharjee. Thank you all for coming here and
Okay, thank you so much. Now we are going to have a band performance और उससे पहले मैं invite कर रहा हूँ stage पे Big FM की तरफ से 2 RJs हैं यहाँ पे and so
Hello everyone, बड़ी मुद्दतों से इंतजार हैं? शुरू करें रॉक कॉन्सर्ट? मतलब पैनल डिस्कशन में 4 लोग, फिर 8, फिर 16 और अब रॉक कॉन्सर्ट आते आते पूरी भीड़ भर गई है. सो सबसे पहले तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि सब लोग आगे आके बैठ जाएं. ओके, आई एम ब्लाइंड नाउ. ऑलराइट, सो आई एम MJ दीपिका, नॉट माइकल जैक्सन. Not Michael Jackson, basically music jockey, because जैसे कि यहाँ पर आप लोगों ने संकल्प लिया है कि by the year 2022 India would be poverty free, casteism free, communism free, बहुत सारी चीज़ें जो होंगी वो बेटर हो जाएंगी, बेहतर हो जाएंगी. Similarly, Big FM ने ये संकल्प लिया है कि हम आपको सुनाएंगे सिर्फ और सिर्फ हिट गाने. वाह! हिट गानों की बात हो रही है तो रॉक कॉन्सर्ट शुरू करते हैं. सो यहाँ पर है दिल्ली project, Delhi Indie project. So, is the band ready? Can we call them?
Be a good reason that you're gone. Every now and then I think you might want me to come show up at your door, but I'm just too afraid that I'll be wrong. Don't wanna know if you're looking into your eyes, just holding on to you so tight, the way I did before. I overdosed. Should've known your love was a game. Now I can't get you out of my brain. Oh, it's such a shame. But we don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore like we used to do. We don't laugh anymore. What was all of it for? Oh, we don't talk anymore like we used to do. You're wearing tonight, if he's giving it to you just right, the way I did before. I overdosed. Should've known your love was a game. Now I can't get you out of my brain. Oh, it's such a shame. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore like we used to do. We don't laugh anymore. What was all of it for? Oh, we don't talk anymore like we used to do. We don't talk anymore. Way I did before. We don't talk anymore. Oh, it's such a shame. We don't talk anymore.
What's up, ID? Are you guys ready to rock? First song we're gonna play for you by Mr. Vedi.
So the next song is called Badri Badariya.
Okay, Deepak, you can add some of Ashish's vocal in my ears.
Kick and snare on my monitor.
The next song is by Karsh Kale. This one's called Glorious.
Deepak, the vocals can go up on the drums monitor.
All right, so how many of you are from New Delhi out here? We have people from Delhi. All right, so our band is also known as the Delhi Wala Band. So the next song we're going to play for you is called Delhi. And here we go. Deepak, some more levels of my vocals on my monitors. Thank you. So the next song we're going to play for you is dedicated to friendship. One of my favorite songs. Any guesses? I think the bass player will definitely help you with what song we're going to play. And here we go.
You guys know this song, right?
You guys have to sing along, alright? For the next song, you guys have to join us. I'm going to make you sing.
I'm not a hater,
Are we not allowed to stand in front or what?
Deepak, can we have vocal reference on drum monitor?
So the next song is again an Amit Trivedi song. This one's one of my favorite. And this is for all the true lovers and about meeting someone. So I request all of you to please take out your phones, put on your flashlights, because this is the perfect song to do that. And we definitely going to take a picture of all of you having flashlights on your phone on. That's like it. Lucky Ali fans out here. How many of you like Lucky Ali? That's it? Deepak. Alright, so the next song is by Lucky Ali. It's about 10 years old song from his album. And this is how we do it in our own style.
बात समझ में आती नहीं
can come in front. There's no point going back. So the next song is actually a patriotic song. And this is how we do it in our own style. We're here together for a cause. And this is how the Delhi Indie Project wants to contribute. Thank you so much. Alright, so the next song, we again need your participation. This is from one of my favorite films. And the moment the guitar riff plays, alright, so the next song is definitely a song that you all know and you're gonna definitely sing along with us, right? So before we go, so please welcome Mr. Moon on the electric guitars. And here we go. I'm not gonna tell you the name of the song because you're gonna sing along the moment you listen to the guitar. Please put your hands up in the air, everyone! And here we go! Just like it! Hey, laundry का एक बिल, एक बड़ी बड़ी नौकरी। का फोन नंबर, मेरे काम का एक पेपर। Is back from the 90s, an A.R. Rahman song. The next song is again a surprise for all of you. I don't know. I don't think after the song starts you guys have to go back. And this one's a song again by A.R. Rahman.
So here we go, guys.
one is again one of your favorites. And here we go. Once more. Alright, so the next song is from the movie called Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. And here we go. जहाँ हुस्न बाहते है बिखरी जहाँ से घबरा so much. All right, so this will be the last song for the night. And this one's to really let out your energies. The next song is called Urta Punjab. Thank you so much. So, I think this will be the last song for the night. Alright, so we would have loved to play a lot more songs for you. So, I think this will be the last song for the night. Or are we done? I think we're... So I think you guys should shout once more so loud that the entire management should definitely allow you all. Alright, so this will be the last song for the night. But before we go, I think you guys have been such a brilliant audience. We're on a tour for 6 days and IIT Kanpur always rocks. So yeah, before we go, I'd like to call everybody to take a selfie with this wonderful crowd over here. So I request everyone to come, and we're going to post this picture from our Facebook page, which is called facebook.com/DilliWalaBand. We'll definitely, you guys please go find the picture, tag yourself, and let's take a picture, guys. Oh, back over here. Alright, so guys, please put your hands up in the air so we take a picture with you.
Okay, can you put it? All right, thank you everyone, and please 3 cheers for the band. Hip hip! Hip hip! Once more! All right, so all these folks are super and immensely talented. And I have a different mic now.
हेलो प्लीज यार सब लोग बैठ जाओ सो वील बी टेकिंग अ प्लेज एंड आफ्टर
something to say.
we'll do our own SNT code after that so एक प्लेज उसके बाद SNT code okay चलो
All right, so since everybody knows कि हम यहाँ पर हैं संकल्प से सिद्धि के लिए, so we have a pledge to take. सबके एड्रेनलिन लेवल्स जो हैं अभी बहुत हाई हैं, तो हम फटाफट से एक प्लेज ले लेते हैं. And we also had a pledge in Hindi, but a lot of people don't speak Hindi over here, so we are going to do in English. So please guys, you have to repeat after me. Hello.
Just a minute. यार सभी लोग प्लीज खड़े हो जाओ.
Please.
And put your hand forward. I know हम सब में बहुत एनर्जी है, but okay, let's utilize it for the later. Okay.
All right. So how am I supposed to do this?
Yeah, okay. In 1942,
our freedom fighters had taken a pledge of quit India. And in 1947, India achieved independence. Come, let us together pledge for building a new India. By 2022, let us together pledge towards a clean India. Let us together pledge towards a poverty-free India. Let us together pledge towards a corruption-free India. Let us together pledge towards a terrorism-free India. Let us together pledge towards a communalism-free India. Let us together pledge towards a casteism-free India. Let us all strive in spirit and soul to accomplish this pledge for building a new India.
भारत माता की
जय!
भारत माता की
जय!
वंदे
मातरम!
वंदे
मातरम!
वंदे
मातरम!
तो अब हम लोग जो बैंड आपके लिए इतना अच्छा परफॉर्म किया, वी आर गोइंग टू गिव देम मोमेंटोस.
Yes, please cheer for them.
So I want to invite on stage Professor J. Ram Kumar, ADSA, and Professor Surajit Das sir, AR, DOSA office. So can you please?
And also the band members, immensely super talented band members, please come on the stage. Guys, please give them a huge round of applause. They have made our night memorable today.
So for the beautiful RJ for tonight. And yeah.
All the best.
थैंक यू सो मच एवरीवन. तो इसके बाद अब SNT कोड स्टार्ट होगा. सो प्लीज़ जो अपने पूल्स में नहीं बैठे हैं, पूल्स में बैठ जाएं. HECs प्लीज़ टेक केयर ऑफ योर ओन पूल्स. सो वील बी स्टार्टिंग विद द SNT कोड.
So all the best and thank you for tonight. Thank you so much.